Why would anybody do nothing?
Well, yeah. Is that the question for you?
Well, it might look like doing nothing. When you look at people sitting on a cushion, it might look like doing nothing. There's actually a lot going on in here.
Yeah.
When we're sitting on the cushion. So, to me, the reason to do it is that I think we, as a human race, suffer from mind poisoning. We believe our thoughts, and our thoughts can spiral down into a very gloomy and dark place, or a self-critical place, a very damaging place. And so that creates a lot of suffering for us, a lot of misery for us. And that's optional. That's to me is the beauty of Zen training, is we discover that suffering is optional. There's a certain amount of pain in the human life that you can't get away from, but we add with our mind suffering to that, and it's optional. And when we discover that and discover how to work with that, to let it go, let it dissolve, when we can, then that creates a lot of joy, happiness, and confidence, too. So, for example, let's say you've had a nagging headache all day.
Yeah.
And that makes you irritable. And that makes you irritable with your family. And then they get irritable in turn. And then it just like spreads out from you to everybody around you, and then from them to the people around them. So when we're suffering, it isn't just that we're suffering, but everybody around us is touched by that suffering. And when we can relieve our suffering, so that we look in and say, okay, well, I've got a headache. Let's just look at what those sensations are. Well, it kind of hurts here, and it feels tense here, and my eyes are kind of squinty, and my mind is distracted. What is my mind distracted with? Oh, I'm having these thoughts. I wonder why I have a headache. I wonder if I have a brain tumor. Because I read, the 7 warning signs of brain tumor. Maybe I have a brain tumor. And then the mind just takes that thought and runs with it. Mm-hmm. So we see ourselves in the hospital dying, and our friends gathered around. Then we see ourselves in the coffin, and we start thinking, well, what will I wear in my coffin? And who will be there, and how will they feel, and who will be sorry that I died? So in a few minutes' time, we can go from sensations in our head, which are uncomfortable, to our funeral. And we could even begin weeping a tear for our death. And
certainly get stressed out.
Very stressed out.
Because we don't want to die.
Yeah, we don't want to die. Then should I go to the doctor or not go to the doctor? It's going to be expensive. And so our mind just carries us away from the simple truth of, I have some uncomfortable sensations in my head, which are temporary. But meanwhile, we've added all these layers of suffering to it. But if we can just return to the fact of there's some discomfort in my head, and we discover we can be with that. And that by itself is an amazing discovery. That
in life, there's 2 parts of practice. One part looks at everything that comes along and is really open. We call that side mindfulness. And so whatever is in front of us, we look at, we appreciate, we hear, we listen to. So we can listen to and hear many, many, many things. We can hear many parts of videos or music or sound or weather or people. We just accept and pay attention to whatever comes our way. But if that's all that we do, then we miss an essential element. And the essential element is we have to look deeply into things. If we only look at the surface of things, just letting things go by and go by and go by, there's a certain truth that's there, but it does not enrich and deepen our experience of life. And so there's a looking into that is extremely important. And the only way we can look into things is by having the concentration, the ability to hold the mind steady, the ability to focus on one thing and to see, and to see, and to see, and to see, and to hear, and to hear, and to hear, and to hear, and to hear it more deeply. Anybody can hear, ducks can hear, but it takes a real human being to hear right to the bottom. When are you ready to look for a teacher? I feel that people are ready for a teacher when they have gotten to the point where they do not know. They don't know exactly what is true. They don't know what they're going to do with their life. They don't know. And in that not knowing, there's a space inside. There's a space inside that says, I'm interested, I'm curious, I'm open. And when we have that curiosity and that openness, and we're not fixed and rigid, then there's space for a teacher. Secondly, it's helpful to find a teacher once you are clear or have some inner sense of finding the truth in yourself. That this body and this mind has to be the entrance gate to the truth. And so the willingness to really experience and to feel all of oneself, to be willing to feel and to stay with one's own direct experience is very important. Third, it's very important that you have the ability and the willingness to go the distance. So once you set on a path, to continue and to continue and to continue and to continue and to continue. Because if you continue going deeper, if you continue heading toward your particular aspiration, then things will open up soon.